This is a box full of unpainted minis, and these are 19 of those minis. Each video I will be rolling a die to figure out which one I'm painting next. If I roll a natural 20, then I will have to roll again for some surprise bigger miniatures. So here we go. This is my first roll, and I rolled a bit out of frame, but I got an 11. Which means in this video I will be painting an Air Genasi, the figure at the top here. I'm kind of glad I got the top one and not the other one, because as you can see there's some misprinting where the arm is transparent and the sword is really bent compared to the reference on the box. This is my first video of the series. I intend to do 20 in total and try new things with each one. For ease, I decided not to clean up any mold lines or repriming, although I know this is a big issue with these cheaper paint-ready miniatures. It's something I'm definitely trying soon. So after doing some minimal research on Air Genasis, I decided to paint the skin blue, since this is the usual color for this species, and to focus on other blue tones. I started off by covering the mini in dark sea blue, and it took a few layers to get it fully covered. I didn't want to recreate the reference picture as it seemed too generic with like a green hoodie and a red cape, and I didn't see those being colors to represent an element such as air. So I wanted it to be more monotone and focusing on blue as a primary color and brown as a secondary for the leather bits, of course. Finally, I remembered to stop holding the mini with my hands. I know this looks ridiculous, and since I'm using a probiotics and prebiotics stop with some blue tack to attach to the mini, but maybe this is your reminder to take your supplements? I knew painting the face would be the hardest bit and I had to get this right, so it's what I did next. Unfortunately, this had to be done at really weird angles. I started building up the highlights with blue-green from dark sea blue, and here's me struggling to figure out how to get the tip of the brush to reach the face. But eventually, I did manage to do it. Since blue is not a natural skin tone, I was really struggling to get something that would read as believable. I added a bit of ice yellow to the mix, and since that made the tones a bit warmer, I think it made it look more alive and more convincing. Now onto the clothes. I had previously taken a picture as reference for the lighting, so I used this to help me figure out the positioning of highlights on the cloak. However, I only took a picture from the front, so for the next time I definitely need to take it from the back as well, especially if there's a lot of folding bits. I think that will help me make things look less messy. And there's definitely a lot going on here which I needed help with. Here I'm fixing a part of the cloak where some highlights were missing. And I don't know why, but I just wanted to slap some Vallejo skin tone on the leather parts and on the base. It's kind of a washy paint, so I thought that once it dried, it would kind of create a naturalistic brown leather look, and maybe it would look like dirt on the base as well. I think it turned out okay for the clothes, not so much for the base. I tried to fix it by dry brushing some blues and yellows. It's not my favorite part of the mini, but it's also not the most important, so I just moved on. And this is about the time when I realized I hadn't painted some of the skin bits. This has happened to me before with other miniatures where I can't really tell what's what in the sculpt, and there isn't a good enough reference picture. It's definitely kind of annoying. So then I used dark rust as the base for the bow and the arrows, and Japanese paint to build up the highlights. I was kind of happy with the result. I just wanted it to look a bit different from the leathery colors. Then I added some metallic silver to the arrowheads and other shiny details, mixed in some ivory to build more contrast closer to the face. I still wasn't happy with the look of the cloak, so I found verdigris and added glaze medium to it to make sure it worked more like a wash. My idea was that it was going to give more consistency to the tones and also make it a bit lighter. Of course, this did mean that I had to re-add highlights afterwards. To be honest, at this point, I'm not sure if I just made it messier or if it does look better, but you can let me know in the comments. After a break, I knew I needed to add some more color to the mini because it just wasn't looking great, it was looking too lifeless. And a good color to contrast with blue is magenta, so I added a bit of this to the chest area and also to the shoes. And I still wasn't very happy with the result. I still needed something brighter on the top half of the character, so I painted the vest with dark tan. I thought I could sell the white leather look, and after messing around it just kind of turned into pink leather, which to be honest I don't really mind, and I kind of got the effect I was looking for. I wanted to get a bit creative, so when I was painting the final details I combined a few browns and yellows to create the different shades for the rest of the armor leather. And also for the pouches, there was also a sword and some metal bits, which I painted. And there you have it. This is how the Air Genasi turned out in the end. I'm actually quite proud of it, even though it's my first mini for the painting series, and also it's probably my fourth mini I've ever painted. I think I learned a lot throughout, and I tried new things, which is the whole point for me. I'm also glad that I didn't stick to the box art reference, because I just know that the color scheme wasn't going to make me happy, and I just want to have fun with my projects. Even though it looks messy in places, I'd be more than happy to play with it, and yeah, I am excited for what comes next. I don't like asking for this, but consider subscribing and maybe giving this video a like. It did take me a long time to make it, and any suggestions are appreciated, really. And this is me rolling for the next video with my new dice tower, and I rolled a 2, which means that the next mini I'm painting is a summer Eladrin, and I'm not gonna lie, I already got some new paints for this, and I'm super stoked. I'm Mars at Roll for Paint, and I'll see you next time.